You're listening to Love Talk Live with the relationship expert, Jaime Bronstein, only on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome to Love Talk Live. Today I have with me two very extraordinary, very accomplished women. And this is Pam Siegel and Leslie Zinberg. And we're going to be talking about something a little different today we haven't talked about on this show yet. I love talking about new things. And it's really essentially, because we talk about love, the love of our grandchildren, right?
Yes.
And the relationship with them. So Pam and Leslie have written a book. It's going to be coming out around December, but pre-order.
You can pre-order it on Amazon right now. We were told that it was going to come out December 2nd, but today we were told that it may come out earlier, around November 15th. Bottom line is that you can get it on Amazon right now. You can pre-order it right now.
And the name of the book is called Grandparenting Renew, Relive, Rejoice. 52 Ways to Mindfully Connect and Grow with Your Grandkids. And our station manager was hopefully going to be posting a picture of it so you can see the beautiful artwork. It truly is a beautifully laid out book. I mean, the colors and the visions.
Thank you.
Quotes.
Thank you.
I love it. So I'm just going to start with reading your bios so that people can get a sense of who are these people that wrote this amazing book. So Pam Siegel.
That's me.
MPH, MFT. What is MPH?
Masters in Public Health.
Oh, Masters in Public Health. And MFT is a licensed marriage family therapist in private practice in West Los Angeles. She has a master's in health education from UCLA and an additional master's in counseling from California State University, Northridge. She is a certified mindfulness therapist and implements meditation and other mindfulness tools to help her clients with a variety of issues. For over 12 years, Pam has led a weekly mindfulness support group. She is actively involved in the mindfulness and yoga community and has her own daily practice and website, pamsiegel.com. Pam is a member of the California Association of Marriage Family Therapists. Love it. Leslie Zinberg has a BS in elementary education from the University of Texas at Austin and has co-written Go Texas. Go Badgers. Although I actually went to Boston University, but Badgers is kind of like my family crap. Has co-written two successful parenting books, The Pink and Blue Baby Pages, written in 1995, and The Pink and Blue Toddler Pages, written in 1999. Both books were featured in national publicity campaigns with appearances on The Today Show, QVC, and local television and radio segments across the country. Also, Leslie is the co-founder of the grandparent website, grandparentslink.com. So let's roll in. We're going to cover lots of topics today. But I think that it would be helpful for the viewers to kind of hear the story. How did you guys meet? How did you come up with this concept? And how do you want to inspire people?
Well, we first met through our mutual friend, Jan Platt. And Jan was a really close friend of both of ours, and she got very ill. And through the process of her not being well, we all kind of banded around her, and we got very close. So we started our friendship that way.
I knew you, but I didn't know you that well.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Our kids had gone to some of the same schools, but we really didn't know each other that well. And it was through Jan that we became really good friends. And then at the same time, I started with my website, grandparentslink.com, and I knew that Pam was specializing in mindfulness. And I asked her one day if she would write an article on mindfulness. And she did, and it was fabulous. And our readers really flipped for it and really liked it. And then somehow or other, everybody kept saying, why don't you write a book on mindfulness with grandparents? And we said, why not? Having no idea it was going to take us a while to put it together.
Quite a few years.
Yeah, quite a few years, because we worked really hard on the book. And then we became better and better friends, because basically, as we were working, it was like a therapy session. And we became so much more cognizant of mindfulness. I became much more cognizant of mindfulness that Pam helped me. And we have bonded over our grandchildren and bonded over this book. So it's kind of a love story.
It's truly been a labor of love,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm going to piggyback on what she said. I was actually it's about 12 years now, I was going through an intensive mindfulness training. And that was even before my grandkids were born. So I was kind of getting ready to kind of understand really what it meant. And then everybody told me, people that had grandkids ahead of us said, "Oh my God, there's nothing like your wait until you're just this relationship." And I was like, okay, I didn't really get it. But then with the mindfulness training, and then I met Leslie, and she said, write this article. So it really kind of all came together. And I think having the background in mindfulness has really made these relationships that much more special for both of us.
Absolutely.
And it's been a labor of love for us, for sure.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of fun.
One of the things that I'm just picking up on is that you two both have just a young spirit. And I feel like I have not written this book, and I'm not an expert on this, but I'm just sensing that it just seems like having a young spirit and that fun spirit really helps also with grandchildren.
Oh, absolutely.
You have
like being fun and silly.
Yes.
And the whole idea too is that which we both processed, is that when we were raising our own children, I knew nothing about mindfulness. I mean, truthfully, when I look back, I thought I was so great, multitasking through the day, like being totally oblivious to what was really going on. It's very different now. Yeah. I mean, I listen, we're not 100% mindful. We just can't be. But at least we know when we're not being mindful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never even understood that concept before.
Let's talk about mindfulness. There's a quote really towards the beginning of your book. And so I want to read this quote, and I want you guys to, in your words, explain what mindfulness is, because I feel like not everybody, people might use it in the wrong way. So let's even just introduce it. So you guys have a quote. It says, "Mindfulness is paying attention to what is happening in the present moment, just as it is, without judgment."
I'm going to let
that's
Professor
actually from
here
John
do it.
Kabat-Zinn said that, I think. But first of all, mindfulness can be practiced in two ways. One is formal mindfulness training, like where you actually meditate and you actually go inward and you focus on your breathing and you're in the present moment. Or it can be not formal. It can be just like everyday noticing things. And we have a little bit of both in our book. And really the whole idea in our very fast-paced world is to just stop and smell the roses and be present, and really be present with our grandkids and with our own lives. That's kind of the essence of what it is. And just accepting the moment as it is without any judgment, without putting any value on what that means. Just accepting it.
By being present, the benefit is, for people that have never heard, because there are some people that have never really thought about it. So by being present, the benefit.
Well, you're happier. You enjoy the moment. You notice the small things. It fills you in that way. You don't go along just like oblivious to, oh my God, did I even eat that, or I didn't even notice the beautiful ocean. Mm-hmm. People. Their studies show that you're happier by actually noticing what's going on.
Not living in the past and not living in the future.
Yes,
exactly.
Just being
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you're with your grandkids, it's really enjoying. It's not what's next, which is something that I think that, as Pam talks about raising our own kids, I think that there was a lot of what's next, because you're always, it seems like when you're younger and you're with your kids, you're always in a hurry to go somewhere. And that's really not what it's all about.
No.
It's really about stopping, taking a few breaths, and enjoying where you are. And with the grandkids, it's such a different experience, because you're not in a hurry the same way. You don't have the same kind of responsibilities, and you usually have them for a while, and then you get to give them back to their parents.
Just when they get tired and
yes,
fussy.
Right. But you get those moments so that you can do special things with them, and you can really take that time. And it's amazing what happens, because they feel that special feeling. They get it.
And we have really, this has been like a long journey writing this book. I mean, I don't know how many years it's been, but I have 5 grandchildren. She's got 2, and they were little. I mean, when I first met Leslie, I think Dylan was young, and she was like 8 or 7?
7.
7. So we have gone through all these stages with them and practiced a lot of what we did in the book with our grandkids. Some successes, some not so successful.
Exactly.
But it's helped, I know it's helped me tremendously, personally, professionally, just to be in the moment with them and not be checking my cell phone and not be talking on the phone with friends and not being looking, just being with them and saying, you know what, this is such a special moment. This is the moment we have right now.
And I think that what Pam is saying is, obviously so true, but you have a different, even a respect. If I call Pam and she says I'm with one of my grandkids, I go, okay, call me later. So I don't want to talk to her when she's with her grandchildren. And when people call me and I'm with my grandkids, lots of times I don't pick up the phone.
Right.
Or if it's somebody in my family and I know I need to pick up, I will say, I'm with the kids and I'll call you later. Because you only have a certain amount of time to be with the grandkids too. Before we know it, it goes so fast. And so you want to enjoy that, enjoy it now.
Even though they're little, we always hear that they're so far beyond their years. Like, so you were saying, like, they do pick up on these things. So in their own little way, subconsciously, like, they are appreciating. They really are appreciating. They might not say, like, thank you so much for not picking up the phone, like, and paying attention to me, but they appreciate it. They feel loved, right?
Right.
Well, and also their parents, a lot of times with dual careers, I mean, they're working and they're
busy.
now, oh my God, and with the cell phones, and now you can get 24-hour, emails. I mean, they see the difference because they are working. It's a different kind of relationship. And so we want to give them that attention. I think it's really crucial. Yeah. And it's good for us too. I mean, people will say, well, thank you. And truthfully, it really is good for me. I love it, for my soul.
Right. It fills you up. I mean, they feel you, the laughter or what they say
and you have
about anything.
You have a little child also.
I have a 4-year-old, yeah.
So you know.
You know what it's like.
Yeah,
you
the belly
learn.
laugh.
Yeah.
The belly laugh.
And the things they say, the questions.
Yeah. Right. And you learn to appreciate, it's so easy to forget how beautiful a sky is or the stars are or that crescent moon and
I love it. Yeah.
With the kids, they make you appreciate it.
Yeah,
they make you see it. So it's a great way, and it's a great way to stay young. Yeah. It really is. And that's what we're trying to elicit in our book, because that's what Grandparenting Renew, Relive, Rejoice is about, is to renew some of the feelings you've had with your children and renew some of the glorious things in your life and relive them and rejoice that you have this time. So
it's all so beautiful and just so well done.
Thank you.
So you just brought up something about non-judgment, not judging, and well, actually, you brought up something that was making me think about my grandma and how amazing of a job she did, and my nana, and my grandpa, and my papa. But specifically, I have a very close relationship with my grandma, and what really is the best part about it is that she loves me unconditionally and she doesn't judge me. And that brings me to, in their book, they talk about 9 underlying concepts. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to read them.
Which are the tenets of mindfulness.
Tenets of mindfulness. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have beginner's mind, non-judging, patience, trust, non-striving, letting go, kindness, acceptance, and curiosity. And I'm going to read, because my favorite, if I had to choose, choose fast one, which one would you choose? The one that sticks out to me, like I said, is non-judging. And there's a quote that you guys have in your book from Mother Teresa: if you judge people, you have no time to love them. So if you guys...
That really spoke to you.
I mean, non-judge, I've been studying it for the past few years. I understand the importance of it now.
Plus you felt that from your grandmother.
And now I give it to my son.
Right.
It's wonderful.
So for you guys, with your experience, we can kind of touch about that, and then I'd love to hear the other ones that you love talking about. But this is one of my favorite topics.
It's interesting.
Non-judgment.
And that's not an easy thing to do.
Yes. None of this is easy.
No, none of it is easy. We have 52 moments where we talk about practice compassion, enjoy the ride, speak mindfully, and we can go on and on and on. I think that one of the ones that I love is practice compassion, which is if we practice compassion, then we're teaching it to our grandchildren, and we are feeling better about ourselves, and they're feeling better about themselves. So that's one of them.
Can you talk about compassion also? Because I've studied compassion, and I know that when you actually study compassion and you study it in a certain way, in the mindfulness way, in the spiritual world, it's different than somebody just walking down the street and being like, oh, I can be compassionate. So I'd love to hear from you guys about compassion. Like, how would you explain compassion so it's different than just, oh, I can feel for that person?
Well, in the book, we have a whole bunch of different ways that, that grandkids can actually practice compassion. And the thing I want to stress is that compassion is a muscle. All of these things, actually, we have to practice them to actually get them to actually resonate. and they're hard. I mean, like you said, it's not that easy. But, modeling is a very big part of our book. We model. As grandparents, we model for our kids, the grandkids, to watch us. And if we're compassionate and model that to the stranger on the street, the homeless man, a kid at school, whoever it is, they're going to pick up on that. So it's a very important, compassion is a huge part of the book.
And they
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, and they pick up on your tone, the manner in which you're speaking. So they really do know if you're upset or if you're kidding. But when you are talking, if you're talking about compassion and you're talking about another human being that you think that you should talk about with them carefully and discuss it, they get it. They get it. And it's the same thing about not judging. It's so hard to see somebody and you think you have an opinion. And it's really important to keep that opinion to yourself, because what you're doing is if you're teaching them and you're giving them something to make fun of or do, that's not okay. So it's really about being compassionate about everybody that's around you. And when Pam says it's a muscle, that's brilliant. I mean, it really is.
The thing is, too, I wanted to speak about the little stories that we have in our book, and some of them, of course, Leslie and I, we wrote them. Some of them were our personal stories, but then we have so many grandparent friends that we got them on board to write their stories. And that is what I think has really given the book such a human touch. I don't know if you felt that way.
Absolutely.
But I'm thinking about the story. There's a thing on non-judgment that we have preconceived ideas, and we're humans and we're not perfect. So some of these stories were like the one you wrote. I think, it was
about judging.
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah,
you have to buy the
read
book.
You have to get the book.
You have to buy our book.
But
it's a good story.
Those stories are really great. And also, we divided the book. I don't know if you saw that we divided it into 4 sections: honoring ourselves, honoring others, honoring our body, and what was the last one?
The last one is think how to practice.
Yeah,
practice.
practicing. But we kind of grouped them together, so we have that's kind of easier to kind of navigate the book. I think that's an important point.
And what's coming to me now is I just love, and when you first told me about this book, the first thing that came to me was this genre, this population needs this book. Because I hear a lot from people in the grandparents population, oh, it's too late to learn this. It's too late. I'm not, I'm just going to do things. I've always done it this way. But the thing is, you're not dead, You have the rest of your life to live the most beautiful, loving life possible. And why not, like you said, as an example, show your grandchildren this beautiful way to live?
Yes. Absolutely.
And then they can take it with them and carry you with them and carry it with them forever.
So it helps, and it also helps. There's part of the book that we have to work on ourselves because it helps us navigate our children. And these are not our kids. So some of this, the part of the book is to actually be okay and accept the way our kids parent it's their life, and we can do what we can do, but we have to respect them as well. You see what I'm saying?
They're not our
So
children.
they're not our kids. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I think that some grandparents have a harder time with that. I think they really get upset, and so I think this book will help them as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm laughing inside because I'm thinking, I feel like my parents do a really good job of that. I also like am intuitive and I pick up on some things where they might want to say something, but
Right.
but
But
they
they're pretty
respect
good.
our
They
choices.
respect your choices. Yeah, and it is a different
They do.
world. I mean, it's not the same when we raised
So
our kids.
different. I mean, we have
Very
the
different.
organic and the clean eating, and you guys
The
some
cell
you don't
phones
understand.
and the social media, and you have so many things.
Sleeping
that we
on
did-
your back as the baby.
Right,
Yes.
right.
You guys
Yeah.
Right.
No.
sleep
Yeah.
sacks.
Yeah.
Exactly. All
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's it's totally
Yeah.
different.
This is going to help them help grandparents navigate the relationship with their kids and their grandkids. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
And the bottom line is that, and I said this at the beginning, is that like we love talking about love on the show, and truly what your book is about and what your message is love.
Yes.
And we keep talking about non-judgment, but non-judgment, Mother Teresa, if you judge people, you can't love them. It's so simple. You cannot have judging and loving in the same sentence.
And the other thing that I think that about this book is that it is about grandparents and the relationship with their grandchildren. It's also about grandparents taking care of themselves too.
Yes.
And we're an important part. We don't want to get lost in just being grandparents. We want them also to realize that we are individuals. We are grown-ups. We have our own life. We want them to understand all of that too. So the book is learning mindfulness yourself and learning to practice it with your grandchildren. It's for both sets.
Yes.
So I love this concept. How do you teach grandparents, whether it's overtly or covertly, to let their grandchildren know that they're people, that you're people also, and you have a life? How would you recommend telling our viewers?
There's a story that you have in the book where you talk about forgetting things. And I think tell them that, because I think that's a cute story. And that's something that explains a little bit about accepting
Yeah, I
grandpa.
think the message is
your
that
water.
we are not perfect. We are humans. We are not perfect. And I think it's a really good message to show our grandkids that we are not perfect. Sometimes we are silly. We forget our keys. We can't find our glasses. My grandson, I just did this over the weekend. He goes, "Grammy, where are you going?" I always make the wrong turn, and he's at 4 years old. He's not 4; he's 8 now. But at 4 years old, he was literally telling me how to drive. Like, I would be absent-minded, and then I laugh at myself, and I said, "Oh, pretty soon you're going to be driving me around." But it's just, I think it's okay. The message is that it's okay to
Be human.
Be human,
Right.
and I think that's really a good message.
I like that.
You know,
Right.
for sure.
And the older they get, the more, I have an 11-year-old granddaughter who is knocking my socks off because of what she says and what she does and how she's growing up and what I learn from her, and also what I learned from my grandson too. But it's also, the process is not just us being with them and modeling all the time. We're learning.
Yeah.
That's the
it's totally
beauty.
reciprocal.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Totally
teach
a
us.
reciprocal relationship.
So much,
Yes.
yeah. But what's so special about you guys and about a lot of people in this world is that they do you and a lot of people do pick up on how can I learn also, because not
everybody
this
does.
could be inspirational for viewers. Not
Yes.
everybody realizes that our children and grandchildren teach us just like we teach them.
Yes.
So much.
So much, yeah. I think that I learn from my kids every day, my grown kids.
I love it.
But I think that, and from the little kids, the other thing is that the humor that they bring into your life,
Yes. Absolutely.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Noah, he has this thing where it's so sweet. Like, Brian and I were driving one day, and we were like, should we park here? Should we park there? We were getting frustrated a little. And Noah in the back seat goes, "Dada, tickle mommy." tickle mama.
Oh.
He didn't want to see that you were.
Oh, how sweet.
I mean, we were just having like
Yes.
it wasn't like
Yeah.
in anything, because he knows that when we tickle him, he feels better. You know,
Oh, that's so
and
sweet.
the belly laugh and just how they say the silliest things, and then you start laughing, and it evokes that inner child in all of us.
And one of ours is shed inhibitions. I don't know if you remember the one with shed inhibitions, which is, get on the floor with them, play with them, be silly,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
fun things. I mean,
Dress
I think
up.
They love when you're silly. And
Yes.
they think it's hilarious.
Right.
The more joking you can do, they both laugh. I pretend like I'll say to them, oh, I parked the car so far away, and it'll be right there. And they'll go, oh, Grammy, you
Right.
kidded me again. It's silly, but
Yeah. That's the joy of it all.
they bring a lot of joy. I mean,
Yeah.
we went back and forth over the name of our book.
Well,
was
for
a
some of
whole
the other
journey. Oh, my
John
God.
Frank-
And
We only had about 50 titles
I know,
at
we
the
had
most.
so many. We
Oh, my
back
God.
and
At
forth.
least,
The
probably.
joy of there's just the joy is a special word for us, because we almost had the joy of grandparenting, and then that was next. But no, there's a lot of joy. I can't deny that.
No, I think it's perfect, and I'm actually going to just announce the title again, just
Okay.
so everybody has. It's called Grandparenting Renew, Relive, Rejoice. 52 ways to mindfully connect and grow with your grandkids. So I pulled some of my favorites from the book, from some of my favorite moments. And you guys can decide. I thought gratefulness was great. We talked about compassion. Forgiveness. Want to talk about forgiveness?
I think that is something that is hard to do. And to show your grandkids that you can forgive or let go. I mean, think about the movie. Think about Frozen, or think about the song Let It Go. I mean, that's what it is. Can you forgive? And there's a whole discussion about that. And we give points on how to forgive. Also in the book, we address different age groups. We might say to you, this is a good idea for the younger set, or this is a good idea for the older set. So that's something else to remember. But I think that, again, forgiving is a judgmental or non-judgmental way to approach your activities with your grandchildren, or to approach, and it's in this world with bullying so prevalent. It's really important that these kids learn how to forgive and to understand each other.
And to be able to teach a child forgiveness is gold. I mean, we as humans, no one was teaching us,
Right.
the importance of forgiveness and not carrying it around with us.
Right.
Because I remember hearing it when I was younger. It's only hurting you. It's not hurting the other person. But I didn't really grasp it and feel it and know it until I became an adult. That truly, you set yourself free when you forgive.
Exactly. Right.
And to teach a child that,
Yeah.
coming from a grandparent, it's
Right.
But
beautiful.
again, all of this is a work in progress. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're going to open up the page and say, oh, yeah.
Right.
It evolves, and I think again,
It takes practice.
It takes practice. I mean, this is what we've said a lot. It is a practice. Mindfulness is a practice.
So do you imagine grandparents sitting down with their grandchildren and reading this, or is it more like it's your manual and you bring it in with them? Or
Okay.
both?
Interesting. I think you can read it with them, but I think it's really about implementing what we've said.
Yeah.
And so, for each of the 52 moments, we have stories from grandparents that we love. Some of them are sweet, some of them are poignant, some of them are funny. And I think you can read those stories with them. But I think it's really addressing grandparents on how to deal with their grandchildren. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like we said in the book, put it next to their bed and just kind of open it up and kind of look at a moment. Sometimes you might have a specific issue that your grandchild is going through, like the sleep issues, they're not listening to you going to sleep, or somebody likes yoga, whatever that particular issue might be. So then you would open up the page and kind of do that. Or you can just kind of glance at it and say, oh, this is interesting. Or my kid is having some food issues. Like maybe I want to talk to them about nutrition and the hunger fullness part, and just depends. But we were thinking of it as a gift book that sits next to your bed and it's simple. The thing is this, it's a very simple, mindfulness is a simple concept, but it's actually very profound. It's a very profound thing to actually do. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Practice.
It takes a lot of practice. Even that's what we wanted to present it in a very easy way, user-friendly way for people to be able to understand it.
Yes, and it truly does. It truly does take practice.
Yeah.
You know, first when you first learn about mindfulness and the benefits, your mind is blown, and then but then it's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Even though it is so simple. But I like that you're bringing this up, and I believe that I'll just throw this out there. There's something called a 33-day practice. There's been studies that when you do something for 33 days, it's more than a month, then it really becomes a habit and part of you. So,
yeah, I've been doing it for many, many years.
33-day practices?
No, I've been
mindfulness.
I actually meditate almost every day, every morning. So,
and I'm sure when you started, it wasn't.
Oh, it was so hard. It was.
Your
ego. I was like, what am I doing? What is this? Actually, we mentioned Jerome Front in the book. He was my first he was the mindfulness teacher who really inspired me. And I took his practice for many years, many, many years. And actually, it's a cute story because at the time, which was 10 years ago, because my daughter just was married 10 years, so it's 11 years, I was planning her wedding. And I was actually in this intense mindfulness training. And like I wrote in the book, I could have just focused on the day of the wedding, but because of the mindfulness, it was the process of us doing it together.
Amazing.
And the day was great, but it was really, and I'll always remember that time we had together, because I learned to enjoy every day, not the end product, not the end of it.
Yeah, being here.
Yeah,
It really helped me.
I think that's such a big deal. It's to enjoy the journey, because so, as again I've said, we're always looking to get to the goal, or are we there yet? Are we there yet? And it's really, can you just take your time and enjoy? And I have to remind myself, because it's hard. I'm a goal-oriented person. So do I want to just get it done, or am I going to take my time doing it? We were talking about other favorite moments in the book, and I have to say that something that Pam, I think, has taught me, or that I have learned a lot through the mindfulness, is something called respond rather than react.
Let's talk about this.
It's a good one.
I think that that's really hard. I just feel like so many times when somebody says something to me, do I react, or can I sit there,
take a breath,
and then think about what I'm going to say?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's hard.
And pause a moment is another one in there. Is one of our meditations, which piggybacks right on that. It's PAM.
Like Pam.
I did not.
The Pam method.
Pause a moment, and it's so incredible if you really implement that in your daily life. How that changes things. Mm-hmm. Pause a moment.
I'll just add to this, because also one of my favorite topics. What I work with and what I teach is that when let's say we're getting triggered. You're talking about getting triggered by somebody. When we get triggered, it's actually our unresolved issue.
Absolutely.
It's not about the other person. So I love the idea of taking the Pam, taking the moment to look inside and say, why am I getting triggered? This is my own thing. It's probably from 10 years ago. Something happened 10 years ago. But do you know what? I have the opportunity now to heal this for the last time if I choose to do that. Mm-hmm. And so then you come back with compassion, maybe, understanding.
Self-compassion.
You do the forgiveness. I'm sorry for buying into the misbelief that I thought this, or I believed in this, I felt this of myself. But I know that that's not true. The truth is, etc. And then you come back, and I even use, sometimes Brian and I, we have discussions, I literally even use the words, this has nothing to do with you. Like, I'm going to work, you know.
This is my stuff.
And then
You're going to own this.
a lot of times the other person feels like they're like, oh, I'm just off, like free, like, ooh, I got off, you know. But it doesn't matter because,
Right.
and this, now bring back to the grandchildren, this would, we don't really get triggered by the grandchildren, but it would be something. It could be something that they do or they say that does trigger you because it reminds you of something from your past,
Absolutely.
right?
Oh, there's
Totally.
no question.
Yes, yes.
And it's not like, again, Leslie and I are very involved in the day-to-day. I mean, we both do. I mean,
So you are close with them.
I mean, and
Yeah.
and we help with homework, we drive, we discipline. I mean, it's like we're there on the front lines, both of us. So it's different. It's not like, oh, we're just taking them to the movies and buying them all this junk and then say bye-bye. No, it's very different. As a matter of fact, I really wanted the book to be called Presence Above Presence. Get it?
Yes,
Presence,
yes,
and
yes.
above presence.
I like
that it's in there somehow. But because it's not just about grandparenting, it's not just about giving them gifts and spoiling them.
Right.
It's not like that anymore.
a real relationship.
It's a real relationship. And it is, we are going to be triggered. At times
So
we are. Especially
we
when
are.
they don't listen.
Right.
Do either one of
Absolutely.
you have a great example as an inspiration? You don't have to get into what the unresolved issue is, but just when you got triggered and how you dealt with it, a specific situation.
Well, in the book I talk about one day our granddaughter was at our house, and she has long, beautiful hair, and she washed her hair, and she got out, and it was kind of cold. It was a cold night, and we were going to go out, and I said to her, you need to dry your hair, and we had not everybody likes to dry their hair, and I said, you really do have to do it. So she took a brush that I have, and she wrapped her hair around this brush, and her hair got stuck
Oh no.
in the brush, and it was not funny. We couldn't get it out, and
She was
screaming, cut my hair.
Oh my God.
I'm really upset, and my husband was there, who was, I think, better about this than I was. I mean, he kept saying, okay, let's figure this out. How are we going to do this? We're calling her mother, because her mother, she was hysterical. And eventually we realized that if we took a gallon of cream rinse and put it on the brush, that her hair would kind of melt away.
Mm-hmm.
So, we hopped into the shower, the two of us, and put the cream rinse on and got the hair to be removed from the brush. And it ended up being a pretty calm experience. But it was something between my husband and between me that we had to really concentrate on. And
not escalated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, none of this is easy. It's all, but this is life. I mean, this is real relationships, like you talk about.
Real relationships.
Real relationships. Yeah.
And I just love that you're bringing up that you guys do have real relationships with your grandchildren, because not everybody does.
No,
and
they
maybe
don't.
there are people out there that have the yearning to, but their ego has brought up excuses. I don't live close enough. Maybe their parents don't want me to be around. Whatever the stories are, but I love that you guys are doing this. It's bringing awareness to the importance of that beautiful relationship with your grandchildren.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes. And how much value we can bring to them.
All parties
All
get
parties.
value.
Everybody gets. It's a win-win.
There is, I don't know the percentage, but there is a study about grandparents being close, grandchildren being close to their grandparents, and what that does, because it adds other value, it adds more confidence. There's something about the extended family where they have a lot of people that love them.
Yeah.
So they're
Makes
feeling
sense.
they're feeling more confident.
Yes, I mean, like I said, my grandma was like my therapist years ago.
Right.
That's so great.
It's wonderful.
That's
On
right.
Sunday brunches, I'd go and sit and have bagels with my grandparents. My grandpa would ask, my grandpa got into it. He'd ask me about like my dating life, and then he'd like tune into the Cubs game. But then my grandma and I, we'd walk upstairs and sit on a couch. And talk.
I love
and
it.
she was like my therapist, yeah. So it really is a special relationship.
Right.
So there's one more topic, and then I definitely want to keep enough time at the end for you guys to really tell people how to get your book and how to contact you guys.
Thank you.
But just one more thing that I thought was so cute, and I actually brought it up with Noah last night, was you guys talk about having like a quiet place, and this is an example of where they have like for young ones, for toddlers, and then and the older ones, and you can tell them more. But for the young ones, it was have a quiet place. It just seemed so inviting and sweet. Quiet place with pillows and stickers. And I was thinking this would be great for Noah because he doesn't always want to take the nap, but it is the quiet time. And I asked him, I was like, would you like to have some special area just for you with pillows and you can draw, and so he said he would want to do that. So I love that you guys bring that up, and I think that the quiet time is something to definitely teach your grandchildren.
Well, I think there's respect, silence, and listen. Those are two that we have in the book. And
yeah, for the older kids, it was about listening to your inner.
Yes,
right?
inner. That's
which
right.
is a gift.
Yeah, I mean that's another part of mindfulness, is to be able to really listen, to not always be talking, and to really be present and with what the other person is saying. So really hearing what you're saying. And respecting silence. It's okay to be silent. We don't always have to be talking every second. So that's an important message.
The gifts are in the silence.
Exactly.
Yes,
that's
because
exactly right.
They are. Because in the silence, lots of times you can figure out what it is that's really bothering you. I mean, that's the whole thing about meditating and learning to meditate, is that when you're thinking, oh my gosh, should I be doing something else? Should I not be sitting here? Should I not be breathing? Should I be concentrating on something else? And at the same time, it's just to settle in.
Go in and listen inside to what is going on.
Yeah. Some of the schools, a lot of the schools around the country, they are doing mindfulness, and they may have an assembly where there's a little bowl and a little gong, and the kids have to learn to settle down. Or the classroom. It changes. It's a great way to start the day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love what this world is coming to, like that we have this now for our children.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's kind of go over how people can maybe reach you guys individually, how they can buy your book, because it's happening soon, and this book will change your life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. See,
they're so sweet.
Well, it's on Amazon right now. You can pre-order on Amazon. That's one thing. Our website is almost up right now.
Right.
So that'll be, you just go Grandparenting Renew, Relive, Rejoice .com, and you can get our website, and we'll have articles and things there that you can find out. What else?
And on the website, you will see that you can connect to Pam through her website, and you can connect to my website. I have another partner that I do, my Grandparents Link, which is a grandparenting website, and that's filled with all kinds of things that you can do as a grandparent, things you can learn. It talks about relationships, it talks about being mindful, and you can connect to us that way. But I think that we have now brought some of our articles, like Pam's article on mindfulness, and another article on mindfully eating, are going to be on, or as soon as the website is up, are going to be up. And we would love for you to pre-order our book and look at it, and I think that you will enjoy it. It's a great book. It's a great gift book, but it's a great book to keep by your bedside. And as Pam said, just open up one page at a time. You don't have to read the whole book. That's what's so great. You can read 2 pages, close it.
Yeah.
But you
Whatever
should read
resonates.
the whole book
Yes.
if you feel like it, because it's all amazing. And also your Instagram, which is amazing. Very inspirational.
Yes. Well, I have that. Grandparents Link has an Instagram, and I think we may have to have an Instagram.
You got to do it.
I know. I think we
From
we'll
everything
have to
I've learned, which is not a lot, I can help you with Instagram. I'm learning every day.
Okay.
So
okay.
Grandparents Link is the Instagram. Just grandparents.
It's just Grandparents Link.
Grandparents
yeah.
Link. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm thinking that, as Pam and I are delving into all of this and having the website and having the book,
Selling the book, yeah.
I think that we
Hop
may
on
need
board.
to,
Yes.
we may need to do an Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hop on board.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. And if you ever need to contact me, I'm at therelationshipexpert.com, and my Instagram is therelationshipx, like a kiss, pert. I was on a podcast in New York the other week, and I was saying X, and they were like, "Oh, that's so cute. It's like X for kiss." And I was like, "Perfect. Okay." So the relationship X, not EX, but X.
And thank you.
Therelationshipexpert.com. The relationship expert, actually.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much. This
Thank
is great.
you.
Oh,
Thank you very
this was
much.
so wonderful. And the best part is that I love bringing people in to bring up all different types of love. We don't just talk about romantic relationships here, because I love love, and we can love our family members, and the gift of love is
There's
the best thing you can do in the world.
And there's nothing like the love that you feel for your grandkids. Oh my God.
Yes, it's
Nothing
true.
like it.
It's different.
Different.
It's different.
Different.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next week.
You're listening to Love Talk Live with the relationship expert, Jaime Bronstein, only on LA Talk Radio.